Yo, everyone. So, welcome to our podcast. My name's Connor, 17, born in December. Um, Kyle.
Yo, my name is Kyle. Nice to meet y'all. It's the first time I'm Kyle, born in November, November 13th. I'm 18, turning 19 here soon. And it's our first time. Let's get it.
Get it. So, what brought you to Christ?
I say witnessing the mass amount of evil that this world has to offer and seeking a source. All other sources not working. And eventually coming across that source because it worked. He worked and many signs, many sources. He was connected through so many ways. And it's one of the main things. And basically, when I tried it out, like really tried it out and stuck with it, it got me through.
Hmm. It's a W. Big W. I definitely say one of the biggest things that brought me to Christ was, just how like dark and alone the world is, and to be alone in a world such as this one, it's not fun. And even like just looking around, just like viewing your life as it is, like looking at your eyes, looking at your human being in the mirror, and you just look around and you're just like this has to have a creator. Like something this complex and this detailed has to
Real.
be made from something. Nothing is made from nothing. Something is made from something. That's just, you know.
That's
So
right. It's complex.
it is complex, but it's also very simple. Simply complex.
Yeah.
Indeed. So let's uh let's read over some Bible verses we got here. You let me know what you think of these. So we'll also explain them too. Proverbs 14, we got the poor are despised even by their neighbors. While the rich have many friends, it is a sin to belittle one's neighbor. Blessed are those who help the poor. So let's go over the first part. Verse 20, it says, the poor are despised even by their neighbors, while the rich have many friends. So think about this. Growing up in school, me and you were both poor, obviously. Uh, Now, while some people would rag on us, even to our face they would. Well, to my face they would. They wouldn't to you because simply afraid of you. But so
Eventually.
eventually, yeah, and so the rich they have many friends because so many want to be around people that have that kind of stature, like power in the world. Because with money comes power in this world that we live in. But the poor are despised and they're just like looked at as like like they don't want to be around
Like
people like
lesser.
that, huh?
Like they're lesser.
Exactly. Like I think it has something to do with pride. Now the 21 verse 21 it says, "It is a sin to belittle one's neighbor. Blessed are those who help the poor." So it doesn't mean just by giving money or just by giving anything that you have. It's also by helping them to move along with their life emotionally and being there with them spiritually, even though they're poor. So the people who are there with them in spirit is way more valuable than the people that are not. So what do you take from this?
Uh,
Or did I pretty
uh,
much cover it for you?
uh,
I'm sorry.
I
I
would have to.
apologize.
Oh no, you're perfectly fine. I would have to really think. It's complex. That's a big topic.
That is a big topic. Not gonna lie. Pretty big topic. 1 second. Sorry. Fix this lighting right here. Okay, there we go. So we got Proverbs 12. Thieves are jealous of each other's loot, but the godly are well rooted and bear their own fruit. So I like this because often we envy each other. What do you take from this? You want me to show you it real quick?
Yeah.
Okay,
Oh,
that's not gonna
that's
work.
great.
So thieves are jealous of each other's loot, but the godly are well rooted and bear their own fruit.
Uh,
So I'll
I'll
give you like a
pass.
little bit.
What do you think from this?
What do I think? Okay, okay. So
Yeah,
thieves often, view each other. One of the biggest thieves of joy is the comparison. So if you compare yourself to constantly something like, oh, I need to be better than that, or I need to be better than them, then it's going to constantly steal your joy away from you. So, always wanting to be better than someone or always wanting to have more than someone, it's constantly going to put you down. But the godly are well rooted and bear their own fruit. So, that means they are happy with what they get and they're grateful for all the things that they have. So therefore, when they get something more, it's just a blessing completely, and they're just completely overwhelmed with happiness instead of you know when they don't have what they need, what they have all the time, like what they want all the time. They kind of they're just okay with it, and it's not really a problem for them. But someone who's always striving for more and striving to get better, it's just constantly like a kind of war that they play within themselves that gets them no peace. Can you relate to that on some kind of level? Because like growing up, me personally, I always wanted to be like pretty stupid dream. Going back to you know um, Proverbs 12, it says verse 11, a hard worker has plenty of food, but a person who chases fantasy has no sense. I have I had no sense for a long time, and I wanted to be the strongest. I couldn't even surpass you when we was like sparring and doing like martial arts all the time. Couldn't even do it. So constantly I was always trying to live up to surpass you, but I couldn't even do that. But the whole time I had this kind of dream of what I could like, you know, I could always like surpass you and be like the best boxer ever. It was just nonsense because even if I did get that,
fair
there would
enough.
always be someone else.
But
So how have you related to that and having like kind of fantasies, like a dream that you've always aspired to but haven't really made?
be Army Ranger,
Mm,
United States Army Ranger, and but there's always a problem, and there's qualifications that I need, and me dropping out ninth grade because my personal life and then school itself, how my school was, Liberty I left, it went completely down the drain. The administration and the people, but and then mixing with my personal life, dropping out and having to meet that qualification, the GED or diploma, no, and and there's always someone better in their own way or at something that's personal with you. There's always someone better. We're all better in our own way.
mm,
And
indeed.
so I learned to say, screw it. It
Because
is
you're
what it
never
is.
gonna truly be better than anyone at every single thing.
As long as it be enough. Heck yeah.
Exactly. I
As
mess with
long as
that
I'm
heavy.
enough. Heck,
So Proverbs 13 verse 11 it says, wealth from get rich quick schemes quickly disappears, but wealth from hard work grows over time. So, the person who works hard and the person who, grows in their discipline is always going to have that money, but someone who is wealth gets their money quicker than they just like how people scam. So people who get money like that, it's always going to be, it's going to be fleeting. And even if they do have that money, it's not really going to get them anywhere because they could have built their own foundation. Even if, because having all that money, it doesn't really get you anywhere past a certain point. Like eventually you just have all that money and there's nothing else you can spend it on. So,
facts. Facts.
one thing you gotta. What are your personal opinions on getting money?
I'll get the money. I'll get enough. Oh, I'll work hard to get enough so that I can live a sustainable life. That's more than or a little bit above average. So could feel feel like I look good enough for the stuff I got. Feel like I'm in good condition, good quality of life, and so I meet the finances that I need to get a vehicle and cover my girlfriend's finances with her lupus, especially just the insurance and gas and the prescriptions. But
Mhm.
hopefully, we get an insurance plan for prescriptions. But I say I get enough money to cover all of that basic stuff. I don't want to go overboard. Like I don't want no big yacht. I don't want no helicopter, no plane, no $3 million vehicle, no
Yeah.
4-story house. It's gonna be simple. I'm just
You just don't need it,
as I
honestly.
yeah, as I stated previously, just get enough and that gets you through.
Okay. Yeah, I definitely agree with that. I'm not really too focused on money nor worried about it. I'm kind of worried about because me personally, I don't really plan on redating after what had already happened, which we'll go into later because we got testimonies coming on. Um, but I'm not really too worried about providing for a wife or kids. Because I'm not. That's not. I don't feel like that's what I was called to do. I don't think. Me personally, I don't think I'm a good enough person to have a wife or kids. I don't think like because don't get me wrong, I'd love to. I'd love to have that kind of pleasure in life. But anytime I've ever gotten into a relationship, I've always put someone over Christ, and it's just always ended the same way. So no one's ever truly wanted to live that kind of life with Christ. They always kind of forget, starting in where Christ is or what we should actually do for Christ, and things get blind. So kind of just want to settle down. And I know me alone, I could deal with a lot of not having anything, which is another reason I don't really want to have a wife or kids. It's because I couldn't accept my kids having nothing, and I couldn't accept my wife having nothing. So, but if it's just me, I know that I can accept, having, shortage of food, not enough money sometimes to like always pay the bills and like buying things for myself. And so instead of going out and buying things for myself, I just spend it all towards bills, which is really all I need. And so stuff like that. But yeah, that's my opinion on money. But let's go to Proverbs 13, verse 7. It says, "Some who are poor pretend to be rich, and others who are rich pretend to be poor." So I would take this as four different ways. Someone who is poor in spirit and poor in wealth would pretend to be rich. But people who are rich in spirit and rich in wealth pretend to be poor. So like they don't make it known that they're rich, and they don't like flash it in everybody's face. Is pretty much, which I think is a pretty cool thing to do. The people over here, like you said earlier, buying like $3 million cars, which is not like that's not needed at all. I mean, maybe if you wanted to spend all your hard-earned money like one car that's like that, I would get that. But going and buying these mansions and doing all these worldly things, I personally do not see a point in that. But that's just me, honestly. What is your thoughts on that?
I would agree. Yeah, it's I would say a good example is Adam Sandler. He's
Mm.
high in spirit, and he don't
Mm.
bet like you feel me. He ain't flashing all this and that. He go out in
Yeah.
public, casual clothes, looking all casual. He's cool, casual
Yeah.
person.
And
That's a
everyone
good
knows
example.
who he is as well, and that's what's crazy. Like he's known for his humble and humility. So I think that's like one of his best traits, honestly. Um, so going into you know let's go into Psalms. Um, Psalms 14, 145, or chapter 145, verse 14. The Lord lifts up the people who have fallen. He helps those who are in trouble. So, pretty much in that darkest time of life, sometimes we feel like there's no hope. One of the greatest things we can do is find refuge in God. And, some of the best things that we can do after finding refuge in God is to pray and read the Bible. And after
Yeah,
that, it's kind of just, I mean, it's self-explanatory. God is what heals us. He's what, brightens our soul and makes us whole again. So if you're going to run to anything in times of distress, it should be him. All right. So, you know, growing up, what things did you resent God for or kind of push him away for?
most definitely when we was in your shed. All started from your shed, pal. And and when we was in there with camera one on the live stream and
Yeah.
glitches as soon as the spirit came into cut, man, slams me. Thing is, because I had a cross and I was speaking, I didn't know as much, but in my mind, having that cross, having that faith, full on believing enough to go in there alone, knowing that there is an evil presence in there, I had enough faith to go in there, whatnot. And I did it, and I was trying to communicate, and man, got slammed, and then after, like me realizing all that and running through my head after, and over time it's sinking in, I realized my amount of faith and the cross, the wooden cross, and but yeah, I got harmed, and it's it's actually shocking to this day because bro, it's just glass breaking, and but
There's one thing I
that
want to
almost
say to this
definitely,
real quick.
yeah,
You said that you got harmed, but you did not die. Okay, so I want to add this. So, uh, they threw Daniel into the lion's den, right? But God did not let him get eaten alive. So that's just one thing I wanted to say is because like often God puts us in these situations where we get hurt, but we don't get killed.
and that spirit could have done a lot more
Indeed.
if it had, oh yeah, had the energy to mess with the electronics and to even physically interact with our realm. Yeah, a lot of energy to even show up on the other side.
So let's go over the story because obviously they have to be confused. Um, so we as kids were pretty stupid, pretty didn't pretty, I we didn't really know what like the actual thing of the spirit like war was at all. So growing up, we kind of messed around with spirits until we actually messed up and found one. um, I didn't get in trouble for it, but you did. Uh, so we had my old house, and this place had a shed. We read into it. There was a little girl who died here, and at the
Zoe,
time we thought that's what it was, but growing up I've realized that spirits aren't a thing and demons are. So obviously it was just a demon. um, so the thing is, we had set up, it was me, you, Mikey, and Caden Revere, I think, and we had set up two cameras. One was his phone and the other was mine, and they were both live streaming. So we had good camera quality, good everything, but we leave it in there for a few hours. But as soon as we noticed some weird things, like some shadows moving across, um, we walk in there and we like, I forgot what it was. Do you remember how the rest of the story went?
was walking in there, was going with the camera, and then was panning with the camera, and we went left, went back to the right, and we heard metal clink. There's a lawnmower clinking against something. And then heard went back left, and during that time we were leaving,
And
and then that
I got
camera,
out of there. I got out.
mm-hmm,
I was gone
we reviewed.
because I was not.
Oh, oh yeah.
But we
Oh
had
yeah.
my camera set up though. My camera had perfect view of
Oh
everything. He
yeah.
had his phone camera though.
I was recording off my video. Your phone was live, but
Yeah.
when it panned back to the left on the way out, seen the black figure full on reaching out, kind of down, arm out, it's coming our way, and then bam, time passed, and I eventually decided to go in there alone to cross, try to communicate, and uh, eventually I was in there. The power of Christ compels you, and goodness, and then it compelled him. And boom, I got slammed and started going on all fours. It's crazy. Listen,
Completely humbled. So me, Mikey, and Caden Rivera was not messing with that at all. So we go back to my room and we have my laptop and we were watching the live stream from YouTube on this account actually, but we've deleted all the videos. I've made multiple things through his channel, Terraria videos, multiple things. So you know we were watching, and as soon as Kyle gets slammed to the ground, the weirdest stuff happens. All the video footage cuts out for like a good 2 minutes, and like it was just all static, and it was so crazy timing. And
that's
like honestly, I'm not gonna lie, Kyle, I would not believe you if that did not happen. Like if the static did not happen, I would have been like, no, no.
that's
But like
crazy. It's just
it
that
was
one moment. It cut out just before.
like I'm
Mm-hmm.
not gonna
Is
lie,
what?
that genuinely like I was like, and for a
Yes. Hey,
while I was like, maybe God isn't hearing our prayers and stuff, like, because like at that time I was definitely lukewarm. Um, so all right. So what were you gonna say? Sorry.
okay. So what's crazy? I had camera two, was in my phone recording on an angle, and then it was going to the back wall. So right as the front wall door right here, little stand right here with Connor's phone pointing that way, and I had camera two pointing this way. And on that back wall, so on camera one, Connor's live stream, just before I got slammed, I was talking about, hey, I said something, and I said, I feel something over my head now. And then uh,
Boom! No,
crazy
no.
for real. And then live stream cuts out, and but just that moment on camera two of my phone, a shadow went across the back wall. It wasn't connected to the ground, and then you heard and me, and I cussed, and then here we're getting out of there. But camera one though, when it cut back, like when it stopped glitching, it cut back. I was gone, and you heard footsteps
Mm-hmm. I remember I was scared.
slowly
We were
walking
scared to
away.
go get the phone. Just
We
kind of
had
left
Rob
it in
going
there.
there. We said Rob in there, bro.
Bro,
Rob in
rabbit. Okay. Um. Yeah, that was definitely um, that. And there was one other time I remember feeling true fear was when we were at that abandoned doctor's kind of office. Um, like
the
it was just me and
that
you,
was a that
and
was a that was a nursing home.
yeah, nursing home. I was about to say because they had like tutus and stuff. I vividly remember tutus being in there. Um, There was one time me and you went though after because we used to. I'll be honest with you. We used to go in there, steal keyboards, steal whatever we found in there. Not proud of it. We did it though. Completely stole whatever we could. Um, but you know we were we went in there this one time and our friends came in there after we had gotten done exploring it pretty much, and we just heard footsteps like running after us, and like it was this kid named Mikey and Tristan and I think it was Jacob.
Zachary.
No, it was Zachary, wasn't it? It was Zachary. I think we
Zachary.
played Prisoners of War after this, but
Yeah.
um, I remember like running into them, and it was just like genuinely terrifying, dude. Like just like for that split second
Mhm.
of not knowing anything, it was just like I'm about to die.
Just
It's
about
over. Like I'm about
for
to
real.
get dragged into that basement because there is a
They
basement,
was
and that
screaming and
were screaming, dude. That basement scared me
It was
genuinely, bro.
screaming.
Oh my
The
gosh.
basement was something else.
The
But
basement was.
me and someone, I forgot who it was, but I was kicking the front door of the glass, trying to kick the glass out, bro. I
I
couldn't.
think it
Too
was with
thick.
Mikey.
It was like
Yeah.
that thick.
Yeah, no. You could throw rocks onto that thing and it wouldn't do anything. There's no.
Yeah, you throw a boulder to it, bro. Oh, overhand a fucking boulder. It ain't gonna break.
But yeah.
On my
So,
soul.
um,
Man,
you're currently making plants right now, right? You got plants making in the process.
I'm doing deep. Four
There
different types of
is
peppers and tomatoes and squash, zucchini, green beans, etc.
there is some things I wanted to ask you about that. So,
Yes.
um, when a bad branch, starts to affect all the other, branches and stuff, all the other fruit, what do you do to it?
Cut it off.
Cut it off, correct? Um, but and what does cutting it off do?
It helps basically take away a leech. A leech is bad. It helps the plant focus all the nutrients, the water, and the sunlight elsewhere to the more fresher areas, and it also help regrow that branch fresh. And yeah, it'll give the plant less obligations, less standards to meet, and so it
Mm,
can work more freely until it recovers enough to replace that branch and
mm.
then do better and it excel from there.
You see where I'm going with this, right?
Yes,
So often we have these bad fruits that are within us that we often need to cut off, and sometimes feeling like cutting it off, it hurts the plant. Correct? When you cut it off, it hurts the plant. We know that plants feel things; they have emotions. Um,
I can
so
see.
exactly, and when you take that off, it hurts the plant, but that's only for a temporary time. So there's two ways to take this. One is, how God removes things from us that we don't need. And, in order to make us have that new branch and have more bountiful and prosperous fruit, he takes that one branch off and then replaces it with something much better. There's a verse I want to get off here, and it says something about, do you not see the new thing I'm doing for you? So it's Isaiah 43:19. It says, "Do you not see it? I am doing a new thing, and um, I will make way in the wilderness and rivers in the desert." So where things don't seem, prosperous, where things seem dry and where it's hard to get through, God always provides a new way. And not only that, He makes this branch that was cut off so badly and just springs up a new well in it. So that's the first way. But the second way is us cutting off the branch for ourselves. And sometimes that means people, or just like things in general, like lusting and being prideful. Just cutting off those things from us can make a new more kind of powerful being for ourselves, and makes us grow stronger and grow more spiritually with Him. So I just wanted to add that because I know you got a lot of plants, and those are pretty cool, and I knew you could relate to that on some kind of level. So indeed,
W.
W. Um, Another question I got for you. What do you think was the lowest point for you in your life?
That's a good question, bro.
Oh, it is. I'll also tell
Man,
mine after, but not right
gosh,
now. You're going first.
I
Yeah.
would, I would say after I defended what I thought was right, some
Mm.
guy sexually assaulted my previous female during
Mm.
high school, and I even told administration. They didn't do anything. Next day, I seen him around her, following her, seen him touch her. So sure if I walked up, it was on site. That was a fight video I got. Started swinging and gave him a concussion. His friend jumped in, tried to take me down. We went down. He broke his
Snap.
arm during that process, put his face in the pavement. I was perfectly fine. Got up, started swinging more, and then Got a 6 month probation to $150 fine, 20 hours community service, and li- uh, only played 2 scrimmages during the football season. Got took out, and grades declined because also I got DAP. Basically went to SOS school for 21 days, and so grades declined after that. And obviously probation, community service classes. But yeah, took every single class the Texas Juvenile Department had to offer, completed them all, and so all that mixing, grades went down. Rumors spread about me, lost friendships, administration, like teachers and people that I was good with, their perspectives dropped. Everything was it was all going down the drain, and uh, so left. And during that time as well, I had a dislocated vertebrae in my L4 on my spine, and so that disqualified me from the military, and had left over $273,000 in assets for a 6 month no in a 6 month relationship. Left $273,000 in assets for a long distance relationship with no assets. Got cheated on the night before my birthday, which is this relationship's anniversary, and lost my job because my management misinformed me. They told me to apply for a leave of absence, but I needed to work 6 months at that previous job, which I only worked for at the time. But they told me to retry, retry, retry. So I did, and then eventually got terminated, and therefore I didn't put in my 2 weeks because I was supposed to retry on a leave of absence so I could heal my L4. Kept getting declined. They eventually terminated me because I missed too much. They said I didn't put in my 2 weeks, never contacted me again, and prevented me from getting jobs because they see my history. Oh, no, 2 weeks. He just left after all them days gone. Yeah, no, decline, and so struggled, and poverty, drugs, violence, all of it, and then just broke more and more, deeper and deeper, broke, broke more and more, and relationships back to back going down the drain, and eventually got to the point where I did, tried mostly everything, mostly all solutions that was necessary or common or good, and nothing worked. And I say that's when uh, I I was I say that was my lowest. I had how much 3,700 milligrams, 3,000 3,700 milligrams of mostly relaxers. Took them all, and I went to sleep with a smile on my face, ready.
Mm.
I was ready in my mind. I was gonna go. I was ready, and I was, yep, peace. Uh, I didn't tell anybody. I was laying there. I thought to everybody though, I love all y'all. I forgive everybody. Thank y'all. And I thought that it was going to be complete peace from there. But then, smile on my face, man, passed out, woke back up, and then from that point, seeing everything and realizing the process I just went through, and it's just then just the disappointment and just empty right there, empty. That's where no, and because that was the most peaceful way.
Continue on what you was saying. You forgot, didn't you?
No,
Oh, okay, W.
we are live, live. Let me take back to you from the United States, States.
Okay, buddy.
Uh, uh, hmm,
Would you like me to tell you?
got you, bro. I got you. So then, everything else is pointless. And at that time, it was nothing. It was all pointless. But look at me now. I'm here, sitting here on a podcast, talking to y'all, talking to Connor, my main dog, bro. Got a monster, got the stuff I want. I'm doing good. I'm having fun, bro. And that is because of the Lord, because I found the Lord, and that was the only thing that gave me the faith, enough faith to get through, enough faith to look forward to something, to go want something, and go get it, enough hope, enough love, enough patience, enough understanding got me enough to get to this point where I am right now. And
Hey,
yeah,
I will be honest,
W.
man. I'm proud of you because if you didn't do the steps that you did right then, it would have never led up to this. And you're talking to me about Christ here, which, like, honestly, if we're being honest, Kyle, sixth, seventh, eighth grade, ninth grade, you would not have seen us this. Like, we would not. Yeah, yeah, no, no. Like, completely, the people that we were completely is gone out the window, and we're burning old bridges, making new ones that are, back to the, the thing about, cutting off old branches and making new prosperous ones. We're doing that, and it's good to see, man. I'm
We
proud
are
of you.
we are far different. And thanks to you, because you're the one that like he spoke through you,
You did, but
and we're
it's all
sticking
him
to it.
though. It's all him.
Oh yeah, oh yeah,
Every single thing that, like, glory be on to him, because, like, genuinely, I'm so serious. Without him, it wouldn't have even happened, because he would have
oh
never
yeah.
spoke through me. He would have never gave me the understanding that I have, and he would have never gotten to you.
Nor many other people.
Exactly. So
And for people to for something to help people's beliefs, so, like everything comes into existence for a reason. With like rumors, they happen for a reason. There's an indication in someone's mind for it that to even be a thing.
mm,
And for all the stuff in the Bible, all like something indicated all of that. There's indication for all of it. I've heard that there's been like two proven lies in the Bible or a Bible. I don't know if there is or not, but which I'm sure there is, but still there's an indicator for everything. And somewhere along there, the odds of all that being lies, fake, no, not even true, not even real, those are small odds. And there's an indication for all of that. And I wonder what that indication is.
the Holy Spirit. It's crazy because there's a verse for
W.
this. There's a verse for this. This is actually crazy that you say this. Hold up. We're just gonna pause this. I ain't gonna lie.
It.
All right, so in 2 Timothy 3:16 it says, "All scripture is God-breathed and useful for teaching, rebuking, correcting, and training in righteousness." So basically every single thing that is even in the Bible was breathed by God and put in by the Holy Spirit. And that just puts it on like a whole nother level. So you just gotta think
And
about that.
I got something when you're done.
Go ahead. I'm done.
And was okay. This just to explain. And even a fool, you can even take something wise from a fool, his words, because there could be something stupid, but you can learn from it and you can get something from it. And even something that's not true, you could take that and have it ready as a card to apply that to a situation or a thing or a thought or a conversation, anything. You can use anything. And yeah, I guess a W. Go ahead.
So, um so there's a verse that says something like that, which is crazy. Like, oh, even a fool who keeps silent is considered wise. When he closes his lips, he is deemed intelligent. So, um, honestly, that's just crazy that you said that. I've seen another verse that says something more equivalent to what you said, which is, you can even take some advice from fools, because some fools like have like, you know, just like
Continue.
some fools have like, that kind of, that, like, have you ever seen in a show how it's like a fool is so simple minded that it helps out the leader who's like trying to, the leader who's trying to like find a very complex solution for a very simple idea. Sometimes it's good to have that simplicity, but other times it's also good to know when you need to have like the the in between, like to whether to be simple or whether to be wise. So I like that a lot.
That
That's a good point
would
that you have,
be the
Dobie. Um, Another question I have for you is, if there was one thing that you could have done different, like starting at any age, really, what would you have done?
I would have not left my previous relationship because yeah, this yeah, I could have been further in life, but it
Mm,
was a little setback. But I'll still pull something good from it.
interesting. That's that's interesting. Honestly, I've not really ever thought about you saying that of all things. Huh.
Indeed. And but and what I am gonna pull good from that, and what I have been, is to work for myself, to do it myself, to expect myself to do it, help myself, know about myself, and get my assets in place, get my part up because yeah, no, there's a lot to it on that, but now here I am working day by day, getting back what I lost and doing it myself
Mm.
rather than two incomes, doing it myself. And I recently, this whole relationship has been planned on covering my partner's finances. So I'm really tackling two finances. And one person, she has SLE lupus, so it's a little extra process right there. Yep.
Back to what you were saying about myself, you go, I'm gonna do this myself. I'm gonna rely on myself and no one else. Some people would say that you need to rely on God, which is completely true. But also, in Micah
Indeed.
7:5, it says, "Do not trust a neighbor, put no confidence in a friend, and even if the woman who lies in your embrace, guard the words of your lips." So even the woman who's, we'll go over this. Hold up, we'll say so it says, do not trust a neighbor, right? So you can be nice, caring, and loving towards them. You can show them respect and honor, but do not trust what they say. Um, because honestly, neighbors can have that very, very close part that you just think, like this good character, overall whelming, like a perfect character, but that's because you don't see what goes on behind closed doors. Um, Put no confidence in a friend, so that if that friend never comes up and sells you short, like you won't be let down. And also, I want to say to this, um, a friend and a brother is two very different things. A friend is someone you can call upon. A brother is someone who will be there in times of need. So, um, even with the woman who lies in your embrace, so a woman who lies in your arms, guard the words of your lips, because that woman who lies in your arms, no matter what she does to you, you losing your salvation for someone who's gonna do bad against you, not worth it at all. Because if she's gonna do bad against you and you continue to keep her around, make sure that what you say and what you do and how you treat her, it's all good. It's all pure out of love. Because there's one thing I want to say: Judas, no one knew that God or Judas was gonna betray Jesus except for Jesus. Jesus loved him so much and made him feel so loved and everything that no one could even tell that it was Judas that was going to betray him. But it ended up being Judas, and he went and sold him out for 30 silver. Many would look on Judas and be like, how could you sell out Jesus for 30 silver? And how could you betray him like that? We are Judas. We betray him constantly. So, therefore, we have no right to get mad at anyone else for betraying us. Even though it is bad, even though it does suck, I would definitely say, we're not going to go too deep into your situation here, but we know how it is, obviously. But, instead of, bringing yourself down for levels that weren't even being up for you in the first place, keep yourself at an all-time high, because bringing yourself down to her level is just going to ruin you. It's going to lose your salvation. You stay up, she'll eventually go up with you. So if you stay happy, you stay bright, you stay that light, you stay that love for her, you stay that foundation of sturdiness, eventually, if you want to keep her around like you have been saying you want to, she will eventually start seeing that you are this, this more loving than dark person. This person who can, no matter what you have been through, you can just stay up and stay at the risen level. That's not to say, eventually you're going to fall. Everyone falls. But if you can stay at that light for so long and just, you fall, the righteous man falls 7 times, but gets up 8. So you may stumble, but don't fall. If you stumble, that's okay. Get back up. But if you can just stay that light for someone, like, you remember how I was like constantly, Jesus, 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 and you came around. But the thing is that if you just stay that light, eventually someone's going to come around. If they really care about you enough, I'm sure Sandra cares about you on some kind of level, and, despite what she has done, you still want her to be around. You still love her. So I'd say you stay right here. She's all the way down here. You stay right here. She's got to move up a little bit. You stay right here. She's got to move up a little bit. You go down. She's got to stay right here. You go up. She's got to move up a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It's a steady work. Like we were saying earlier, a man who works for his stuff gets eventual wealth. But a man who speedily does it overnight, it flees from him because it's not real. You know what I'm saying? Lust rushes, love waits. So leave that with you, because it's pretty hard to take on all at once. Not gonna lie to you. Background noise, huh? No? Okay. Well, yeah.
No, I'm just not sitting here on mute, honestly.
So how does that make you feel about that?
And it has been like that for a good while now, and I do notice a big improvement. And now it's just me. I gotta get used to it now because I've been used to different. But she's been like that, better and
Good.
better. She's already at the good enough mark, like good enough. She meets all standards, all this and that. Now she's past that, and yep, going higher and higher.
Right.
And I've been building my path, building my part up, and seeing how long she sticks around, seeing what she does, seeing how she does it, what she says, how she says it, what she don't say, what she don't do, and this and that. Seeing if she's good enough. While during that, I'm building my part up, and really, I just go to work and build myself, build my mind, and
Mm.
better my body, and do that and all that. But it's been good, and exactly as you said, we've been through that process as well. It's been going good. Now it just
Now,
needs me to get used to it and build my part, my perspective on her. And now
mm,
what?
there is one thing I want to give you before we get off this topic, because obviously.
No, no, go ahead, bro. Go
Gosh.
ahead. You're all good.
So, there's this verse, and it's 1 Corinthians 13 verses 4 through 8, and this basically is a pathway on how to look at love. So I've said this to you before. I'm gonna go over it again. So verse 4 says, "Love is patient, love is kind, it does not envy." So, saying like envying, that's not just. I've been revealed this recently as well. Think about envy as being controlling, like being like, oh, if you're gonna hurt me, I'm gonna make sure you don't hurt me again. Instead of being like, oh, if you're gonna hurt me, that's okay. I'm just gonna get over it and build myself up. So I think what you were trying to say by that was turn the other cheek, but that's a W. If that's what you were saying, that's a W. Like, that's actually awesome. It does not dishonor others, and it is not self-seeking. So love is never self-seeking. It never comes from the heart. so love, gosh, love is not self-seeking. So when you do something, it's not to seek your own personal gain or a personal kind of reputation. Your reputation will be built off of how humble you are. So being humilitized and being humble is one of the best characteristics, and God loves the humble and he blesses them, but the proud he literally despises. So we got it is not easily angered, It keeps no records of wrongs. That is a very hard one for me, especially. I'm sure it's a hard one for you. Keeping no records of wrongs. So you gotta think about it. When we commit a sin, when Jesus died on the cross for us, that made it to where God looks at us, sees our sin, it's gone immediately. When He looks at us, He just views what Christ did on the cross for us, which is beautiful. Because if we didn't have that, we wouldn't be saved. So when God looks at us, He looks at His Son being beaten and dried up on that cross, and He just sees only that, the sacrifice. So He keeps no records of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices in the truth. So back to lying and stuff. If she tells you a lie, yes, it sucks. But if she eventually gets to the truth, respect that. Being mad at her for telling the lie is gonna make her want to not want to tell you the
Hide it,
truth more. So you gotta think
hide
about
it to
that.
prevent that.
Huh?
She'll want to hide it to prevent that. Me getting
Exactly.
mad.
Exactly. But if you're always like, well, let's see how we can work around this. If you just tell me the truth, it's gonna be okay. And eventually she'll come around to that and she'll start accepting that. And if you just hold it out, like I said, you stay that light, you stay that love, she'll eventually come around, and then it'll be just how you want it.
What, dude? So Dobby.
Indeed. So it says it always protects. You're obviously a protector. I can see that in you. Always trusts. That's another thing. Love always, kind of trusts in that kind of sense. So one thing I wanted to ask you before, we wrap this up because we're pushing an hour. Um, what is your testimony? Starting like from a kid as well.
Testimony. And okay. And one more time. The testimony is
Basically, all the bad things that happened leading up to you finding Christ.
poverty, foster care, violence,
With detail though, with detail.
and
It's like telling a
detail.
story of your life, like a biography, autobiography.
Man, bet. So yeah, poverty for sure. And one first is that wind hitting my microphone.
It is a little bit, but you're good. You're good.
So I have to say, yeah, starting out poverty, just being poor, motel to motel, getting kicked out. Eventually, a family of seven being on the street, walking, nowhere to go with all
Mm.
of our stuff. And then went out to family on down to Oklahoma. Bet. Gotcha. There it goes. And then yeah, that's when foster care hit and went to shelters and that was just a rigorous process. First went to Audubon shelter and we were split up, couldn't even see my siblings that was in the same shelter. Couldn't see them, couldn't talk to them. Or well no, I could see them but couldn't talk to them, couldn't hang out with them. We had our age groups and after that, relationships going down the drain, more poverty and just more violence, far more violence, and drugs because all that's big, and just struggling. And first round of probation, first round of community service, fine, and second time of probation, and the relationship before that, losing all my assets, loved ones, friends, etc. And then this one has been a struggle. I've had to forgive her over 500 times. On my soul, over 500. I'm summing down. But so that's 500. That's
But
500
who's
chances right
keeping
there.
count? No.
Right, right. I tried, but too much. But most people don't even get two. For sure, three. And then
True.
there's 500. But but it's all good because we're still together. And today's our year anniversary. So woo woo.
Today?
Uh Man, yeah. Man, I can't even talk to her because her parents took her phone.
Hmm.
Yeah, but all that though, and just everything going down the drain and struggling, and then all sources failing besides the Lord.
Like when we watched Vinland Saga. W anime, by the way. Love that show.
Joby,
Uh,
Joby.
you know,
So they
there was a
better
thing he
dub it.
said. Huh?
So they better dub it. And what's up?
Yeah, for real. There was a thing that he said. He goes, um, I've lived with my hate for so long, and now that it's gone, I have nothing, you know? And, with
Mm,
that, it's just like, that's kind of how I felt as well, and I'm sure you felt as well. Once you, like,
some of
have
that.
nothing, and once you've, like, figured out that the hate leads to nothing, it's kind of just, you're just empty, And then that's where Christ comes in, because you just have nothing left, and then you realize how much you need him, and it's just amazing, man. But that's an amazing
That is
testimony.
Joby. It works.
It's a W
Thank you.
testimony. All right, before we wrap this up, I'm gonna give mine. Um, whoop whoop. Okay. Uh, so growing up as a kid, um, my father would always beat on my mother. I know it's just throwing that out there. So growing up, always having to see that was kind of hard. Definitely makes you kind of more scared when altercations go down. Um, you kind of learn to grow with it a little bit more. But as time goes, you start to hate the world. And me as a kid just did not like anything. Always wanted attention. Always acted out for attention. Always, kind of made that impact to be like as mean as I could be just because the world treated me so bad. I was just gonna boom hate it back. You know what I'm saying? And so always felt alone growing up. Mom was always there, but she also had a husband or some kind of boyfriend in some kind of way. So I kind of, eventually was just like, just kind of like, let me go make some friends. These friends eventually would lead me into a very, very kind of bad situation. Um, I would say, growing up about 6, 7 years old, I met these friends. Um, this one kid, Gabe, we won't give like good names or real names because but I got sexually assaulted by that man, and they were supposed to be my best friends at the time, so I had problems trusting people like that, and getting sexually assaulted is never fun, especially as a little kid. Never fun. All right, we're just not even gonna go too far into that, but so growing up, didn't really want to talk to anyone, didn't really want to make any friends. Had my parents around. Eventually, moving on into Hugo, biggest depression season of my life, from fourth to about seventh grade. Eighth grade, it wasn't like fully good, but I started to get better. So fourth to seventh grade, constantly. This is when I met Kyle and my other brother Isaiah, and so they were about like the stepping stones of me being brought up because growing up they were always like you know they were they were so strong in my eyes. Like they knew the way and like how to fight and like that was what I based my entire life on is getting into fights. Even though I only got into like two, that was what I based my entire self off of. Good,
That's what we had to do to get through.
exactly. And not trying to be cringe or anything. I got beat a lot. All right, so but another thing was growing up, they would make fun of me for being poor, like we was talking about earlier. I never took showers ever. I think there was a whole 2 year period that I just stopped taking showers like completely because I just genuinely like I didn't want to. I just couldn't be asked, and which is gross, yes. But and maybe I did deserve the bullying, but which I don't know about that, but obviously it's a really hard time, and so eventually growing up is kind of hard. It was more of a struggle than it was peace. So I would go on and about into, I think it was sixth grade, my dad had passed away. So in sixth grade, I just completely shut down and I just stopped talking to everyone, which was, I think, like one of my like definitely my hardest trials to overcome was losing my dad. He wasn't even really in my life too much, but the fact was that I just couldn't, like, I couldn't, basically, I couldn't get over the fact that I wouldn't get to see my dad again. So that was kind of hard to, like, grow up with. So about a year passes. I'm doing fine. I'm doing better. I start wanting to do better for myself. So I'm over here taking showers. Sometimes I wasn't taking showers all the time. I was uh, barely brushing my teeth. I joined some sports, football and softball or baseball. Uh, Quit them. Could not stand going to them. Just like hated it. Around this time, I got smoking really bad. Like around seventh grade, I was smoking pretty heavily. Pretty much everything. Not like everything weed related. I was on it. Had a stepdad who was constantly buying weed, and it was just like is one of the biggest outlets for me because I was just like, you know what, I'll just pass my day, get high, eat whatever I want, do whatever I want, and then I'll be fine. Uh, at this time, it was also me and Kyle sparring a lot, so that took out my frustrations. But it was all temporary. It was all kind of that was something that was temporary for me, and it helped in the meantime, but it didn't really get me anywhere. It made me feel good. It made me feel cool, and yes, I could defend myself in a lot of ways, but in the end, it didn't really get me anywhere. So I move on, and I move to Kentucky, and I meet this really cute girl. Her name was Reagan. First love, basically. Um, Reagan, me and her had some problems. I ruined her first. I completely would always accuse her. Completely always, just like when things weren't wrong. And then me accusing her so much eventually led to her accusing me over stuff like the same things that was just useless. And then me eventually, us kind of like becoming what each other was accusing each other of. So I was just like accusing her so much that she became what I was accusing her of, and she accused me so much I became what she was accusing me of. And eventually I was like, you know what, like I, I looked up her best friends, you know what I'm saying, the people that she worried about me most, and she got with the dude that I worried about most, which is, we're not gonna give names, but she caught it. Uh, I guess it was whoever got caught first. She had been talking to Austin, or my bad. She had been talking to, you guys know the name now, but Austin, for I'm not sure how long, but she had been talking to him while we was dating, and they fell in love. They're doing good now. Me and her are on good terms. She's doing really well in life right now, actually, and I'm proud of her. But I was a bad guy. I was genuinely a piece of crap. So I move on, and eventually the 2 years that I spent, mom moved away in Kentucky. She moved back to Oklahoma to go try and fix her thing with her boyfriend. So while I was with Reagan, I was living with her parents, and her parents took me in. Very nice to them, very lovely people. It's very, very hard time. Definitely didn't know, like, they didn't know how to, raise a kid like me. I was kind of like, I was a bad kid. But, mom came back. Eventually, we got a house. So, after that, we had some problems. I got broken up with by Reagan. That was pretty much like I just sat in bed, smoked all day, ate whatever I wanted again. So at this point, I was like, you know what? I'm kind of done with all this. And I was like, I miss my old friends. So I went and took the truck that her family had bought me with the check that I got. And I moved down straight back to Texarkana. I came to Texarkana, spent about a week or two with Kyle. We lived or we didn't live, we like stayed in a hotel, trashiest hotel. I mean, they had like they had a freaking, what was it? A snack place, and it was like, explain it, dude. I don't even want to go over how that was, but
All right, man. They had a vending area,
not even a
and this is just
machine.
for real, just a little rack with a few items on it, bro.
Like some Pikachu freaking gummies. Like the fitness gym that was promised closed. The laundry rooms closed. The pool closed. It just kept getting worse and worse. There was this one time actually, while where me and Kyle were like we were driving back because we had just went and got some food or something, and there was like something under my truck or something, and we have no clue what it was, but it was like, you remember that noise it made? Like that was genuinely scary. Like we got under it, like we skirted backwards and then pulled back in and then like looked under it. Nothing was there, obviously, but uh, so after this, I move on and I go over to Oklahoma, spend a few months there, and then I'm over here. You know, I get a motel for a time being, and then I go and stay with Tristan, which is another one of my brothers. He let me stay with him for a few months. At this time, I started losing weight. I moved back. I moved from about 222 to I think 180, and eventually to 175. I weigh 161 right now, which is great progress. But I was obese. I was a fat ass. No, okay, but I was pretty fat. So after all of this, you know what I'm saying. I had got my mom down here, and you know, they she came with all these promises and all these things that she usually did. Rob promised all these nice apartments, and none of it worked out because he never really had any of these promises. He kind of just made them so that we would come back, and things were really hard, and they would argue the entire time, and eventually they just started physically fighting, and I was not on that. Mom would always get on to me, because I would tell her what to do, and she would think that just because I was the child, that was a problem. And yeah, that was a big trial for me. Was just like, what do I do here? Because you won't let me leave, and there's nothing I can really do, even if I did leave. And I just gotta stick with it. But boo, no. But so I just had to stick with that. And then I found this girl named Jaylee. She was a really nice girl. I eventually ruined this girl as well. So me and her had found a sturdy foundation in Christ. Eventually, it got a little bit pushed away from Christ, and started getting real lustful. We started doing things that I cannot say that I am proud of, bad things, and we even did stuff by a church, which is I'm not even proud of at all. But so yeah, so we did those bad things, you know, sex, all that, and somehow by a miracle, I got her pregnant. But you know, I don't know how. Honestly, I'll be honest with you. She ended up having so much stress on her, and just so much, so many problems, and there was also just so much that was going on. The lack of nutrition, lack of all that, and it
The
eventually
household.
the household as well. Also, like the just the stuff I was putting on her, like constantly making her like feel like she wasn't enough. Nah, it was just as much as the rest. I'll be honest with you. Um, and I was bad, and she miscarried. So the thing that was kind of keeping us together at that point was the baby, and then when the baby was gone, I could just feel her slowly pulling away. So that was definitely hard to deal with. Kind of still waiting for this girl, not gonna lie, but I don't know if she's gonna fully dig in with God. I don't know if she is digged in with God. I don't know if those things are going good. I don't know. We don't really talk too much, but after she lost the baby, it was just I was just lost. I didn't know what to do. And, I had found God, but I lost him. There's a verse that says, those who found God and then completely disregard him would have been better to just not know him at all. Because, like, it's just going to be so much worse for those people. And, I was back to where I was, and I realized right there that, there was I had nothing left, and that the only thing I could rely on was really God. So I took some time to myself, and I just kind of focused on him, and now I'm here where I'm at the closest point in my life where I've ever been with God, and I'm constantly reading my Bible, I'm constantly praying, I'm constantly in the Spirit, I'm constantly thinking of God. Whenever I do something, I'm like, God, is God in this? Is God going to be here? If God's not in here, I don't even want to be a part of it. And if I am a part of it, I don't even feel right doing it. So I wake up and I'm like, thank you, God. Give me, your grace, and thank you for blessing me of just even waking up. And, I fast. I'm not fasting right now. Sorry, but I'm just as close to God as I've ever been, and honestly, my life, it's feeling like I'm doing so good to the point where I just feel like maybe I'm not fully realizing what I'm doing wrong, because sometimes I'm just like, wow, this is not who I expected me to be able to be, and sometimes it can be hard. So I'm kind of in a point right now where I'm like, is there anything that I'm doing wrong? And if there is, please reveal it to me. But I'm just trying my best, and that's pretty much my testimony. You know what I'm saying? Pretty long testimony. No, but yeah. I hope you guys, Kyle, do you got anything else that you want to add to this before we get off?
Well, I must say, it's a W testimony, and God bless
W.
y'all. Thank God for being here. We are
God bless
live
you.
Fridays at 5:30.
Gosh, we
Y'all
are
stay tuned.
live.
Catch us for the next one.
All right, guys.
What?
Well, we appreciate you all for watching the video. I don't know how many views this will get, but hope you guys had fun. This is it's been fun, so I appreciate you guys.